Hey guys, it's Summing Rush. Today we're going to be taking a look at a carry that myself and Voodoo played on Paris. And I'm going to be showing it too because a lot of people don't know what they're doing on Paris, myself included. So hopefully this can be enlightening to both of us. Alright, so first things first, we're in a platoon on Paris, we're top tier. If you look at the enemy team, what you'll notice is that they've got 2 mice, an M103, and a T10. And as a platoon, we decide we don't want to fight those because the mice are going to be in the south. And if we were to place south like normal heavy tanks would, we would have a disadvantage against the mice because they're mice in a corridor map, and generally you don't want to brawl mice head on if you can avoid it. So that's the first thing. That's like the negative thing. We don't want to fight the south. So the question is, what can we do then, given that the south clearly isn't going to work well? Well, we say the north, because if you take a look at the enemy team, they've got an M4, like they've got a ton of weak tier 8 tanks that we would love to fight in our top tier 10 heavies. So what we're going to do is we're going to go fight the M41, Scorpion 34-3, Victoria 422, etc., etc., and we're choosing to play the field. So we know they're going to be there because they can't go to the city. Like, obviously that would be bad for a Victoria to go to the city. He doesn't really have any other option. And so basically what our goal is to do is you want to kill all the enemy's tier 8s before their tier 10s and 9s win the south. And that's the objective here. It's like, if we can kill 6 to 7 tanks right off the bat, it's going to be very easy for us to finish off the mice and the M103s, even if those guys are relatively high on HP. So I've never played this position before, but as you can see, we're just kind of rushing the field. This is the plan. This is, we need to kill these guys relatively quickly because looking at the enemy team lineup, they're going to be sending about 4 tanks to the south. And then if you also look at what we have, we've only got 4. So that's not going to end well for us. So we need to push this quickly before they get on our cap, because obviously if these guys die, it's clear for the enemy to just drive onto our cap. And so we're in this position, and we're going to modulate our aggression based on what we see on the south. So right now we're just assuming that there's going to be about 10,000 HP pushing the south, because Mouse is in a platoon with another Mouse, and they've got the T10 and the E5. So we... basically looking at this, it's like we need to do this quickly, and if we don't, we're probably going to lose. So I'm taking this position. I don't want to be any more aggressive than this, because if I were to lose my HP to the bat shot, that would be a complete waste. But I am getting shots, like there's no need to be more aggressive. And at this point in time, you'll see something sparked me to move up, and that's going to be the mini map again. So this T2065 is being really aggressive. Now, given the context, he's bottom tier, like fighting other tanks, and he probably expects the Jagdpanzer 100 to be there or whatever. He's being really aggressive. So in my mind, this guy's not alone, and this is a play. This is something you can infer most of the time. It's like most people don't just YOLO into 3 tanks. So you can assume that he's got support, and to me, looking at the map, it's like he's got the 2 mice with him. So the 2 mice are here, plus a T2065. They're going to be in our base soon, because it's going to be no problem for these guys to kill the Jagdpanzer U100 and the T10 and the STA2. So I'm trying to be relatively aggressive because I want to get to their cap before they get to mine. So you can see that's what I'm doing right here. We're driving into the bat shot. I'm going to put a shot into him, 479 roll. He's now a 1 shot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let someone else kill him. If I recall, I might get the kill here, but it's like I'm waiting for someone to flank him or an opportunity just to get the kill, because it's not worth me spending my HP. You can see my platoon mate, he's about 1,200 HP down, so that means I'm going to have to be taking the lead right here, and we're just going to push right into them because the bat shot's dead. There's no one who's going to shoot us into the side as we make this play. So something unexpected happens right here. The Mouse has decided to come back to base. Now, what I'm doing is I'm assuming that he did not assume this bush is where he should have started off. I think probably what happened is he drove to the city, saw us playing the north, and decided to come back to base and defend, when, like, he shouldn't have done this, because he could have just pushed into our base and capped out. Like, that would have been the strongest play he could have made. But here he is in front of us, and it's really important, if you're going to make an aggressive play like this, that you assume people will respond to your aggressive play. This guy saw the fact that we were pushing aggressively and decided to change his play style to come fight us, which is something really interesting, and it's something you can expect from most people in this game. At least that's been my experience. So we're going to have to deal with this Mouse. It's going to slow us down, but it also means that we don't have to rush very much, because a Jagdpanzer and a T10 can deal with an E5 and a Mouse. Like, obviously. So we aren't under a lot of pressure. The situation isn't dire, and we're just going to be brawling the mouse right here. The only thing that I have to do, apart from killing the enemies, is kind of take the lead right here and focus fire. And so you're going to see I'm going to do that with this bulldog right here. He wasn't looking. I was able to just finish him off. And the reason I did that is because I want to reduce the amount of guns the enemy team has, and that will make it a lot easier for us to shoot at them. So mouse right here, I bounced his turret. Probably shouldn't have bounced if you take a look at where that actually ended up landing. It really shouldn't have bounced. It probably just was a low roll from pen. Next shot is going to pen, though, if I recall. There we go. It pens. And this guy's now down to 1,000 HP. So, all things considered, you would think we could just drive into him. But if you take a look at my platoon mate's HP and how easily a tank like mine loses its HP, we're not going to be able to do that. We're pushing into, more or less, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks. Like, we can't do that. There's also a tank... I think that's the RD on the map right here. It's like, we can't just rush into them and expect to do well. We also don't need to, because if you look at the south, the enemy is not threatening our caps, so we're in no rush right there. I don't know what to say about that. So heat bounces the side of a 34-3. It is what it is. They have a lot of one-shots, which is really solid for us. They've got like a huge amount, but you'll notice that even when I have focus fire in mind, I'm not going to poke on like 5 tanks to shoot at the W's at 120. It's not worth it. I take the easiest shot that's going to be the least expensive, and if I have the option, obviously I'm going to shoot the lowest HP. So we're just going to continue this brawl right here. And what you'd think, given the way this game is progressing, is that the game really isn't close. We were just 3 tanks up. The enemy has a lot of one-shots. But one thing that I find interesting is actually this game is going to end nearly in a loss for us, more or less. So the reason I think this is going to happen is because if you take a look at our team and look at the enemy team, it's like they've got a lot of HP. We also have a lot of one-shots. So this guy right here's... he just died, actually, so he's not a one-shot anymore. But to me, it looks like we've got really low HP tanks, and a lot of them are tier 8s. We're the strongest in the game, and then the enemy tier 10s are in very strong positions, and they also have a mouse who probably has about 2,000 to 3,000 HP at this point. So the enemy team has a lot of HP, and you can see they have brought it back right here. So the score just went from 6-3 to 7-7, and that's going to be problematic for us because now we kind of have to carry because the game is just getting more and more close. I'm good at English. So one play that my platoon mate made right here is he took the mid. So the reason he needs to take the mid is because it's a position to get angles on this M103. It's a very strong position. It's going to allow him to get damage. But you'll notice I did not join him. So there's this mouse here. He's a one-shot. The mouse can finish off these 2 tanks, no problem. Like, he's a mouse. He's got a badger for support. So what I need to do, the reason I'm staying where I am, is because if these guys died, the mouse and the badger would be able to flank my platoon mate, you know, who's over here, and that would be a catastrophe. So I'm holding a side right here, and that's going to allow my platoon mate to be useful, even though I'm kind of being useless right here. So I'm not doing damage, but it's a game-winning type play because it allows my other teammates to basically do stuff. So you'll notice we're going to start falling back. Now, this is because I want to play the mid. It's also because I don't know where this 34-3 is. He's been here for a while, and I haven't seen him. Now, our M4 Rev just dies as he crosses. I'm going to take advantage of that, kill the mouse. And then very quickly, you're going to notice that we're actually going to start to get flanked, and someone spots him relatively soon, pretty much after the 703 starts YOLOing. So the M103 makes an aggressive play. We're going to look for shots on him. Honestly, he's like, I'm not scared of him. He's not that big of a threat. It's just like he can kill my platoon mates or my teammates really easily. You'll notice my platoon mate's basically a one-shot if the enemy high rolls. This guy's a one-shot if the enemy high rolls. This guy's a one-shot, and I'm a 3-shot. So I need to kill the M103 just so he doesn't kill my teammates. And then that T-34-3, which I'm pinging on the map, still hasn't been spotted. So I'm kind of expecting him to try flanking. And that has me worried. Like, I don't really know how to respond to that. Meanwhile, the badger shoots at me. I aim at his lower plate, and I hit his tracks because RNG. And I think it's about now that the 34-3 gets lit. Yep, he does. I notice him on the map, and now we're going to have to fall back because all it takes is RNG to screw us over right here. He could kill our T-34. He could kill our Lorraine. His position makes mine very hard to play. So what we're going to do is we're going to run away. Artie ends up clicking him, and we're in this situation where we have 4 tanks, or 3, if you take away Artie, but really we have 4 tanks. The Artie is relatively useful in the position that he is. He actually moved, which is very strong, and they have this 1000 HP mouse and two-shot me and one-shot teammate right here. So we're going to go after the mouse. Now, the reason we're going after the mouse and we're not pushing into the 34-3 or the Badger is because both of those tanks could be a real pain in the ass to kill. One, the mouse is alone, and two, the 34-3 and the Badger could just run around a building and make it a complete waste of time. So the idea here is we're going to push, you know, we're getting flanked by a 34-3. We'll push onto the mouse while he's alone because that's an easy kill. Or I guess I should say she. We're just going to try to put heat into her turret cheeks right here because, yeah, I think I actually penned this shot right here. It's my last heat shell, goes in, she's able to put a shot into my lower plate and track, and to me it looks like I would die right here, but you'll notice the Badger has come to help out his platoon mate, and now we're in this tough situation where it's a 2-on-2, I'm a one-shot, my platoon mate's a one-shot, and then both of the enemies are two shots. So the Lorraine kills the 34-3, which is absolutely fantastic. The problem is this Lorraine right now is pretty much what we need to kind of save the game. It would be perfect if the Lorraine were to flank. So what I'm doing is I'm falling back. This brings my platoon mate into the fight because otherwise he wouldn't have shots. And it's also going to buy us time because I want the Lorraine to be able to flank the enemy team. So low roll on the mouse right there. I think this has 490 alpha, but I low roll. Luckily, the Rusty_907 gets the kill. And now we're just against this lone Badger who's two-shot for us. So one thing I'm noticing is that the Lorraine 40T is flanking. Now, most people would fall back in a situation like this. I'm moving forwards. Now, the reason you have to move forwards in a situation like this is because if the Badger noticed the Lorraine 40T, all it takes is for him to turn and one-shot the Lorraine. The Lorraine has a huge time that it will take for him to get safe while he's behind the Badger, and we need to pressure the Badger from both angles, basically. So I'm moving up, even though I'm a one-shot, just because being here prevents the Badger from just turning around and snapshotting the Lorraine. So the Lorraine gets behind him, the Badger notices, tries to push forwards, the Lorraine kills himself on the Badger kills my platoon mate right here, and then I'm able to finish off the kill, and that's the game. So yeah, pretty hectic, but it was also pretty entertaining and pretty informative. We can go take a look at the end plates, and we'll go from there. All right, so that was a Master Badge First Class, Spartan, Steel Wall, 130k credits, 4500 XP. I ended up doing 5720 damage, got 4 kills, and my platoon mate did 5862. So combined, we did about 11,000 damage, and combined, we also did 2300 base XP. So, like, that's a carry, you know? No one else on our team really did their hit points. So as far as I'm concerned, if we weren't there, we would have lost. And that's the type of play that wins you games. I ended up bouncing a lot of heat off stuff, so nearly lost credits there, but I didn't, thank God. And the enemy team did an okay job too. So overall, I think a relatively informative game. It shows the plays that you can make in a platoon. Platooned heavy tanks, like 2 of them, are extremely strong because you're able to push sides. You can do a lot, and this replay basically exemplified that. So that's it. Hope this video is helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.